Fight me politically, not my family, says Mamta Banerjee's nephew and Trinamool party leader Abhishek Banerjee, even as the Trinamool Congress is all guns blazing at the government over the Orissa train accident. I'm Barkha Dutt here with the Mojo story. The images and stories and reports out of Orissa continue to be heart-wrenching. More than 100 people are still missing. But before the country can come to terms with the tragedy and its aftermath, politics have erupted. The government has announced a CBI inquiry, but Trinamool Congress leader and Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamta Banerjee, is among those that is arguing that this is a useless way to get at the truth. Mamta Banerjee's argument with the government over the Odisha train accident comes at a time when her nephew and Trinamool party leader Abhishek Banerjee is also in the line of fire. Today, his wife and children were stopped from flying out of the country. Mr. Banerjee issued an angry statement saying, if you think this will make me bow before you, you have it wrong. If you want to fight me politically. Do not pick on my family. All of this comes against the backdrop of larger questions about what is happening on efforts to forge opposition unity in the run up to 2024. Let's go straight across now to our newsmaker on the broadcast this evening. We're joined by Derek O'Brien. Derek O'Brien, of course, is not just a member of parliament, he's a leader of the Trinamool Congress's parliamentary party in the Rajya Sabha. It's good to see you, Derek, and let me give you a very warm welcome to the program.
Well, I think I should welcome you as well, and nice to have Mojo back. I've been following what happened with YouTube, and very sad, but I'm glad things are correct. But I do think people like YouTube and Google and Facebook and Twitter, they need to get their act together in India.
And thank you to you for your words of solidarity. And I think every voice contributed to us being back. So it's good to be back. Let me get straight to it. Some might say your leader is politicizing a horrible human tragedy, that she stood next to the railway minister and she speculated that the actual death toll might be 500. She was roundly criticized for it. Why did she think that dal mein kuch kala hai? As she said, she suggested that we do not know the actual toll.
You see, at a moment like this, firstly, our prayers and our thoughts are with those families who are grieving, as well as those families who are uh, have patients in hospitals. Uh, I think this thing of politicizing it. Nobody politicizes an event or a tragedy or any incident more than the BJP. I don't want to waste time, your time, my time, your viewers' time, to discuss what the railway minister was up to after that first train passed. There was megaphone put up there, slogans. There are bigger issues here. The numbers. Unless we had a Lazarus situation, suddenly the number from 288 came to 250, then 260. We want the truth out. And I think even at a moment like this, we need to get to the basics as to what has been plaguing the railways for the last 9 years, what is missing, what are the track record on safety, how bad has it been on maintenance. These are the issues, and we are the first party. The first, in 2015-16, we've been fighting to say you have to have the railway budget. There are some parties who even agreed with the BJP and said, no, it's okay if you subsume the railway budget. From 2017, we haven't had a discussion on the Indian Railways, on the budget in Parliament. I mean, so when you say you have anti-collision device was an idea of 2009 vision document presented by Mamta Banerjee. What have you done between 2014 to now on anti-collision device except giving it a new name?
The Kavach. The father of the Vande Bharat train says even if the Kavach had been existent on this route, it could not have stopped this collision, this horrific train accident, because essentially there was a problem in the signal that was given to the driver. How would the Kavach have stopped that?
It's a broader issue of what money are you spending on infrastructure. You're doing all these inaugurations. Let me just give you a couple of real examples with numbers. The bullet train project, I'll come to the Kavach in a moment. The bullet train project costs 1 lakh of rupees, 1 lakh crore rupees. 1 lakh crore rupees. Now, the total safety budget for the Indian Railways for 5 years is 1 lakh crore rupees. I mean, where are the priorities? You're doing an infrastructure push. If you're doing the infrastructure push, and there's nothing I'm telling you new today, all said in Parliament, but then who's listening to Parliament? Not the ministers. What are we saying in Parliament? That there has to be infrastructure push, but you have to match that expenditure with safety. You have to look at maintenance. Do you know in Southeastern Railway where this train crashed, 950 crores of rupees was allocated to the anti-collision device. If you check the pink book of the railways, how much of it was spent? Zero. These are the very, very serious issues. But when you say all this on the floor of Parliament, you're told you're bringing this up, you're anti-national. This is not the arguments. Why are 3 lakh posts vacant on the Indian Railways? There are so
You
many
have,
questions.
fair enough, but you have objected to a CBI inquiry. Mamta Banerjee says, it took 12 years. In her time, she announced there was a CBI inquiry. We still don't know the truth of that accident. Why have you objected to a CBI inquiry?
I'll answer that in one sentence. Because the CBI is the back office of Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah.
I mean,
Enough.
the CBI is the back office of every government in power, it could be
No,
said.
I think, even if you look back at as bad as the Congress were at times when they were in power, this is in a different league. The CBI, the ED, we coined the term washing machine. It's completely back office of Mr. And the interesting part about it, well, not the interesting part, the intriguing part is they use it so brazenly. Whether it's the ED, whether it's the IT, whether it's the CBI, it's brazen, absolutely brazen. If you look at the number of these cases on opposition MPs and how many on BJP MPs, from the chief minister of Assam to the leader of the opposition in Bengal, to a whole lot of them who are my colleagues in Rajya Sabha, sitting there now as BJP MPs. It's shameful.
So you're basically saying you do not trust the CBI to be independent. So who do you trust to be independent?
There has to be a way. Why are there different voices coming? One day you say, let there be a proper inquiry. The next day, what does the government say? They think it's signal failure. The next day, what does the government say? Let's wait for the Commissioner of Railway Safety. In all this change, then they come to CBI. So there are so many 1, 2, 3, 4. And the other point is, do you know who the Commissioner of Railway Safety reports to? They submit the report to the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Anyway, that's an aside. So CBI is not the solution. There are 300 families, about 300 families who are grieving. There are about 1,000 families who are traumatized. We need to get to the truth. And then we have cock and bull being spread either by somebody from the BJP or somebody's trying to suck up to the BJP within the BJP, or even the leader of the opposition in Bengal. This is quite shameful. We should be the positive part we want in all this is that please stop the public relations, get down to PS, passenger safety, and seriously focus. Why only 1,200 or 1,400 kilometers have coverage? You asked me a question on coverage. Why? The idea was mooted in 2009. You cannot blame Pandit Nehru for that. You cannot blame 2009 to 14. You want to blame the UPA. What did you do between 2014 to 2023? This is not the only.
But is it fair to ask for the resignation of the railway minister while the tragedy is still unfolding?
No. What does one do? What does one do? Somebody has to put their hand up and say, listen, I take responsibility. And I'm glad you said about asking for the resignation or making a political statement. The BJP at the state, the Indian media is, and the last few days I've not given, this is the first time I'm speaking to anybody from Delhi. I've spoken to BBC, ABC, Channel News, because if you let the BJP and their media, that alliance, if you let that happen for 2 days, they'll set up all kinds of narratives. They're telling you there was a mosque in the area. They will set up all kinds of fake narratives. And that is why I think it's good the TMC was out with a statement within 6 or 7 hours. You can't sound pretty. Modi,
I mean, the point about the mosque was made by a troll, right? That a mosque had
I mean,
caused.
that the fact that we are even discussing it is such a waste of time. And I think we are talking about politicizing. Nobody politicizes. Nobody remembers what Mr. Modi came and said after the bridge collapse in Calcutta, where people died. What did he come and say? Nobody remembers those statements where he came and said, remember, this is a message from God with a message for the people of Bengal. Who says this? This is not a troll. This is Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India. He came and said that. Who passed those misogynistic comments in Calcutta? Modi, on the 25th of May, not long ago. Now, I'm not forget about Bengal elections. That was a while ago. On the 25th of May, few days before the accident, please put out that video clip, if I may suggest. What did Mr. Modi say? And I quote, nothing happened before 2014 on the Indian railways. Those who were running government were clueless. It's only after 2014 we started doing what we did. And that's why it's only we who can do high-speed trains. That's
Okay.
unquote Modi.
Okay, now while this horrible tragedy is taking place, and your party disagrees, your party colleague Abhishek Banerjee, nephew of Miss Mamta Banerjee, his family, his wife have been stopped from flying out. They are embroiled in a coal scam, in a coal smuggling case, in a set of grave allegations where there is a suggestion that a kind of protection bribe was pocketed by them. That's the allegation that is being made. How do you respond to this?
Well, two responses before I respond. It's interesting how you described, uh, I'm almost amused, not angry, but amused at the way you described my Abhishek Banerjee. You called him Mamta Banerjee's nephew. You called him my party colleague. He's the National General Secretary of
Sure.
he's the National General Secretary of the All India Trinamool Congress. We have one National General Secretary of the second largest opposition party in India. And yet you guys will say party colleague, okay. But Mamta Banerjee's nephew, he's a two-time MP. He's a National General Secretary. Anyway, that having been said, you see, the vendetta politics, if they have all this information, why don't they put out the videos? If they have all this information, why don't they arrest him? Try it. So, if all this grandstanding, it's obvious. Tomorrow, if A joins the BJP, a washing machine will be used. Abhishek is Banerjee, which has, I don't know who has reported it, who hasn't reported it, that's not important, is on day 41 of, he's traveling all across the Yatra, the Trinamool Yatra across Bengal. Today is day 41. Okay, I haven't seen many reports about it on the national media, but we're not complaining. 41. We've got 19 days to go. It's important to know what is happening there. There's a groundswell. There's no election. There's no election in Bengal. There's no election been announced, but there's a groundswell. This man is working 18 hours a day on the road and interacting with people of Bengal, interacting with party workers. So I'm sure the BJP have had a long, hard look at their data, which they get from their research and analysts, and they must be knowing that the percentage points of the Trinamool Congress are making it more and more difficult for the BJP for 2024 and the ensuing panchayat elections. So what do? The wife of his wife, who, by the way, informed the authorities 2 days before she was traveling, no response. And then when she goes to the airport with her two minor kids, they're stopped from traveling. I mean, how you'll never know. When they go low, we have to go high. How low will they go? We don't know.
What do you say about the allegation itself?
What allegation? Prove the allegation, he says. Prove the allegation.
The
Arrest
allegation
me,
is that
hang
nearly
me.
five crores has been given as protection money to Abhishek Banerjee and his family, or rather his wife, in a coal smuggling case. That they've basically taken a bribe to look the other way. That's the allegation.
Yeah, anyone can make an allegation. I'll tell you what the allegation is in one word. And I know there may be some teenagers and children watching this program, so I won't use the word, but it starts with a B. It's an 8-letter word which starts with a B and ends with a T.
I mean,
Okay,
I think we can say that you're saying bullshit. It's okay. I don't think,
that you
yeah.
can say. I
Mm.
have to be at least sounding like a responsible
Right.
parliamentarian. Otherwise, again they'll want to suspend us from parliament also for opening our mouth. At least you guys are not. We're having a conversation here without you muting. That itself has become an achievement that day with the current state of the so-called legacy media in India. But I'm not going to waste my time calling out the
Yeah.
legacy media. Because I think everything will change, and in 2024, all this will change. The opposition parties, all of us, bar Mr. Patnaik, who still is what's the word I'm looking for? Cozying up with the BJP,
Mm.
Mr. Naveen Patnaik and the BJD, with all respect to him. The rest, everybody is on board, and the BJP and Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah, I think they themselves know. That's why they're making a lot of reactive responses. Whatever opposition is doing, they are reacting to. And the way the opposition unity is happening, the attitude of all the political parties, it's not easy. It's not easy. There are 20 parties, and obviously the 5 or 6 bigger parties in that 20. We will work this out. And the BJP, this is the last few months.
You say this is the last few months for the BJP. You seem confident about 2024. I want to understand from you why. You talk about opposition unity. So let me ask the first sort of prickly question. The Trinamool Congress has not always been well disposed towards the Congress party. Has your opinion about Rahul Gandhi changed a bit after the Bharat Jodo Yatra? Do you take him a
See,
little more seriously?
this is, again, these are all personality driven questions. Bharat Jodo Yatra was a program of another political party. I shouldn't be passing any, doing analysis on that. That I'll leave to the journalists to do. But I think overall, you need to, and this is what we're doing. Of course, there are differences between different parties, but we are putting these little differences or different points of view, and it's not easy, it's complicated, but we will still do it. We are now looking
But
forward.
Miss Banerjee was invited to the oath swearing in ceremony, Mr. Siddaramaiah in Karnataka. She chose to send a representative. Many
No,
people
no,
read
no,
that
no.
as a
Not at
sign.
all. No, not, no, no, no. This is a subject I know well. Like somebody said, why weren't you there? Why
Yeah.
didn't Mamta Banerjee send you there? There, I was out in the US for some personal work, and we sent the deputy leader of our party in Lok Sabha, Dr. Kakuli Ghosh Dastidar. And if there was 1 day notice, it's not anybody's fault. I could not expect the Congress. Mamta Banerjee would have gone. I think we're reading too much into this. And when we have that all opposition parties meeting, it will be a good meeting. But let's not get ahead of the story. And let's
But
not get
you
ahead of the
wrote
story.
you wrote in your column, and I agreed with the argument that the opposition's chance against the BJP comes from trying to make 2024 an aggregate of state assembly elections. You need to keep it local, they're going to go presidential. But it isn't easy. Mr. Modi, all surveys show, remains the most popular individual politician in this country. And at some point, he's going to say Modi versus who. And if you
Good.
can't answer that,
I'll answer that.
you're on the back foot.
No, I'm glad because that column, which was, yeah, it was written in early January, and I noticed you. I'm happy that you referred to the
Mm.
column once on your program.
Yes.
I think that's an interesting point you make. What happened in Karnataka? He tried to make the election presidential. It doesn't work. What happened in Bengal, where we won 220 seats? What happened in Himachal? There was a famous
Those are state
line.
elections. Those are
Right.
state elections.
I see a point. I see a point. There is a difference between the BJP in a state election and the BJP in a national election. But the story which the BJP is trying to get out, the narrative which the BJP is trying to get out, and that's the one which has been hurt in the last, at least I would say, 2 months, is that 2024 is a done deal. 2024 is not a done deal for these two gentlemen you're showing on the screen. That's why if you
Mm.
look at the picture, they're looking a little concerned. 2024 is not a done deal. Telangana is a loss coming up because BRS will win the election.
Mhm. Okay. Uh,
election.
I
I don't have data on Madhya Pradesh at the moment. So if we play this well, and I think the parties are being very gracious, and I was looking for a word to describe all the parties in the opposition, be it the Congress, the Trinamool, the DMK, the SP, the Shiv Sena, everybody. And there are two kinds of parties here which we have to acknowledge, and we acknowledge that. There's one party, kind of parties, a group of parties who have an electoral alliance with the Congress or an understanding with the pre-poll or post-poll alliance with the Congress. Whereas there are parties like mine or the BRS or the Aam Aadmi who don't. And I think everybody is being gracious, and that's the way to go forward. For example, even on this date for our meeting, the location for our meeting, it's happening through a consensus. It's not about, my ego is bigger than your ego. And this is a sense I can get from all parties. And
But you cite this assembly elections, and I will remind you that before 2019, in 2018, the Congress took Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh. Later, the BJP was able to take it Chhattisgarh. The fact is, people in India vote differently in the state and at the national level, in most cases.
not so, not. There's no. You can't make a sweeping statement like that. See, what are the issues which people are voting on today? People are voting on, do I have jobs? What have you done? Have you given my son a job or my daughter a job? Has she got a job? What is the situation on the jobs? What are you doing with the social fabric? Social fabric is not a Hindu Muslim allowed issue. I always say that how come Trinamool Congress won 51% of the vote in Bengal? Because everybody voted for us, be it Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh. Social fabric is a big issue. Employment is a big issue. Price rise is a big issue. These are some very, very important issues. If you look at the women protests, the wrestlers, I was so touched since the nuns of the Catholic Church, the largest group of nuns in the Catholic Church, they've given out a statement condemning condemning what has been going on with the women. Trinamool Congress was the first party to send a group of 4 MPs. We've also had protests in Calcutta led by the Chief Minister. These are issues which are people have very upset with these issues, and they still have the time. And I think BJP are going to make more mistakes. And I think there's one more important aspect, which we're talking about the opposition. What's the situation in the BJP itself? Who is unhappy? Who is in touch with us? Who is in touch with Mamata Banerjee? Who is in touch? No, these are people who are looking who are not unhappy with the way things are going. They're looking for options, and they want to express themselves. So there's a lot of pain. Why is one former I don't like to mention names, one former Bollywood star who fights from a seat in Uttar Pradesh, another Bollywood actor who she fights from Punjab. I saw statements in the last 2 days. I'm going to fight Mathura and no other seat. I want to fight Chandigarh. What are these noises about? So the BJP, too much of focus is on the opposition. When we're having our meeting, Baba, we'll have the meeting. All of them will be there at the meeting at different levels. The action is actually in the BJP.
Okay.
The action is in the RSS. RSS are not at all happy with what is going on.
Okay, before I let you go, the one thing that is different for the opposition in 2023 than it was in 2018. Why are you better placed for this election, you think?
Between 2023 and
Between basically the last Lok Sabha election and this one.
2019 and now?
Yeah. Okay. But I mean the cusp of it, yes.
Yeah.
Why are you better
placed? I get the point.
Yeah.
Well, one is we've understood that, and something is very basic. We understood that presidential is not what was written in the Constitution of India. So it's much easier to defeat the prime minister who's defeated everybody also in his own party to become I, me, and myself. So that is number one. Number two, the common issues, and you have to remember this is year 11 coming up. This is not 5. 2022 is an important year. People wanted to give Mr. Modi a chance till 2022 because he made the promises in 2014. I will double farmer income, not done. I will do the bullet train, not done. I will do so many other things, not done. What has he done? Parliament building. Why on earth have you done that? We don't know. Did you discuss anyone? People don't like arrogance. People don't like hubris. I mean, and I think I can't remember who it was who said it. I think it was Mr. Chidambaram from the Congress I was watching. He said that as a prime minister, what advice would you have for him? And he's put it very nicely, saying that chair is not permanent. I can sense, and Mamta Banerjee is a politician from the grassroots. In the conversations I've had with her, I'll tell you one thing before I go. In 2021, about a month or 6 weeks before the election, there was so much of buzz. Somebody's leaving Trinamool, BJP is coming to Bengal, and this thing. And she told us very calmly, I remember one conversation where she said, listen, it's not about whether we are winning. We must try and get 200 seats. And I said, 200 seats? I mean, we got 220 seats. Mamta Banerjee, the chief minister of Bengal, the chairperson of Trinamool, I can sense she has that feel that this is the time, go hard, 2024, put the egos in the pocket, stick on major issues, make it local, and Modi and Shah are defeatable.
Okay, we leave it there. The bottom line is that put your egos in your pocket. Let's see. That's a challenge for you guys.
Yes.
and we let it be at that and watch with interest the meeting that is going to take place of opposition leaders as you forge or try to forge unity ahead of 24. Thank you, Derek. Take care and have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye. We started Mojo right here in this basement. Just 4 people. 4. And now we're about to hit our first 1 million subscribers. So this is to say thank you to all of you for your support, for your respect, and for your encouragement. We've always gone to where the story is. During the pandemic, when television's big anchors were hunkered down in their studios or at their homes, we hit the road. We traveled from Delhi to Kerala, covering 30,000 kilometers in our small car, reporting from inside ICUs and inside slum tenements. Whether it's flash floods or war zones, we've always put our boots on the ground. In fact, we're just back from Punjab, tailing the Khalistani fugitive Amritpal Singh. And through all of this, we have always put you, the people, first. In an age of partisan polarized media where most journalists are either chamcha ya morcha, we believe the story is sacred and the truth of the story is what matters. And now as we get ready for the next step, we need your help. Become a Mojo member and get first access to all our big interviews. Get a chance to ask our newsmakers questions. Get a chance to write and report for us for both our website and our channels. And also, interact with me and my colleagues directly through AMA sessions. Literally, ask me anything. Click on the join now right next to the subscribe button, and yes, also subscribe if you haven't yet, and become a Mojo member for just 159 rupees a month. Hope to see lots of you in our community. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.